Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge, please. And Bonnie's going to lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Figured I'd just throw it at you rather than let you think about it.
Yeah.
Must be almost summer. Nice crowd. Everybody on the board had a chance to review the meeting minutes from the clerk on the April 17th meeting. Yes, April 17th, not April 172. How did I manage that? Like a correction to the agenda that's supposed to be April 17th, 2024. I don't think there's 172 days in April. Sometimes it seems a little long, but hearing none, these are the clerk's minutes.
Actually, there wasn't.
Oh, Dan's got a correction.
Yeah, Webb's share is 86%,
What I put?
14.
Oh,
I was just trying to clarify.
Well, wishful thinking going on
Yeah,
there.
well, I was going to say wishful thinking. Any other suggestions, corrections, requests? Hearing none, these are the clerk's minutes. Brings us to our first public comment of the night. Anybody in the public wishing to state anything? Raise your hand. Mr. Rudd?
Yeah, just, and I know that it's more or less a dead issue with the town as far as the golf course goes. But does anybody know what is gonna happen there? Because I think it's very important the town knows what's gonna happen there. Because it's very detrimental for the town, period. And it seems like there's a million different things out there that have been said. And does anybody have any idea what's happening?
The last conversation I had with Roger Lynn Jr., who was speaking for the family, led me to what was the statement that was in our minutes that are available tonight. I'll repeat them. But there has been no credible offers that he shared with me that have come forward to purchase the golf course. They've had a couple of inquiries that fell well short, and we're requesting all the equipment and everything to go with it. They couldn't come to terms. At this point, he's going to possibly take care of the back 9 with the hopes that somebody might come along and want to redevelop the front 9 because that's in the Hamlet area. If somebody comes along, and I know as well as you do and anybody else that the longer that sits, the worse it's going to be to try and bring back. But we're still hoping that somebody's going to come forward and make a fair offer that they can accept. That's his wishes. I believe that's the board's wishes. They're not looking to lease it to anybody, according to Roger Lynn Jr. That the last time conversation I had, I think if somebody that had managed another golf course somewhere else came along and made an offer for a lease, he might consider that. I'm not speaking for him. I'm speaking of the way I thought the tenor of the conversation with him went. A couple of people that have offered to lease, he really felt they would be in way over their head to try and run it, believe it or not, including the town. It's a very unfortunate situation with the fact that it's private property. Employees are not falling off the trees. We don't know what we're getting into there. It's not like we're trying to create a 6-hole golf course and grow it like Newcomb did. And quite honestly, Newcomb wouldn't be as successful as they were if the Lynn family had helped them out develop the golf course over there. That's the only other municipal run golf course that I'm aware of in the park. There may be others, don't quote me on that, but I know the Lynn family had a big hand in doing that.
Can I throw something out?
Sure, go ahead.
Just so you're aware that they have been out mowing for the last 2 weeks, though, at least in the back. They've been taking care of
So
that.
they are maintaining it somewhat.
Yeah, they've kept all the greens right cut down. They mow them every 3rd day
That's been the plan.
and doing the fairways yesterday.
Okay, well, it's more than I hoped for, really.
And actually, it was Roger Senior was out there yesterday
Okay.
himself.
Well, and quite honestly, that's more information than I had. You drive by the front 9 and there's trees laying down and the other stuff that's highly visible, but you know, if Roger's out there cutting, senior is out there cutting the back nine, he's in somewhat of an agreement with Roger Junior's voice on this, because I have not been able to talk to Roger Senior yet. Again, I would make the appeal out there to anybody that I believe the town board, I'm speaking for them. The assessor's office, we would do whatever we could within reason to try and make that a go if somebody came to town with a decent offer. To the point of looking at, you know, something interesting with the tax structure the first couple of years, just to keep it open. But not giving away the farm.
And I understand, I just wasn't sure if you heard anything more, if what the outcome's gonna be or anything, so
No.
that's why I asked.
And if nobody comes forward, I believe that, you know, Roger Junior, if nobody else even wants to develop the front nine, he may have a hand in doing that himself. I don't think they're gonna sit on the property, just leaving it the way it is. The conversation that I had with him was quite extensive and long, and we talked about other areas. His desire is not to run a golf course. Even if they open up the back nine, he's looking to get somebody to run that and maybe put a smaller clubhouse back there. I'm guessing if they redevelop that front nine, that clubhouse that's there now will probably be sold as a lot. That's the last piece I had. And when I say a clubhouse, I believe it was along the lines of a partially enclosed pavilion, you know, and his desire thought was somebody could set that up so it would be quick play for people coming to the area, would be able to get in and out and enjoy it. I don't know if that means redeveloping some of those greens, because if anybody's played that back nine, you're going to lose a ton of balls back there. It plays long, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if they're going to shorten anything up or what, but so cutting it, keeping it going on the backs, but not open for business. Any other comment? Peggy, welcome back.
Thanks. I wasn't here last month, but I watched the video of the town board meeting. And to me, it appeared like you made a decision without any discussion from any board members or anybody else about the snowmobile trails. I just want to know where the extra money is going to come from to pay for the difference.
I did a draft budget last night to see if we could make it work, quite honestly. It would mean eliminating some things. And at this point in time, I haven't even shared the draft budget with the town board yet. But it looks like it could work with the benefits of the fact that we've had projects going that are falling off the table. Main project being the money that we've been setting aside for the emergency towers that we're not going to have to do once we close this grant out. It'll all become, when I get this, I'm going to send the draft budget to the board. And when I say it's a draft budget, we haven't even started budget sessions yet, because I'm basing it on what is the tentative rules from the county. We don't have the final assessment rules to set a budget from. So usually the tentative rules stay pretty close to what they are. But when I share that with the board, I'll post that budget online for people to see it. I try to take some good guesses on information I don't have as far as health insurance, pay, Social Security, and some other things. But I've got right now a 3% increase built in for wages, and the money set aside to keep the snowmobile program as is as far as maintenance and equipment. And the budget, I think, stood just either above or below a 3% tax increase.
But that might be this year, but in the future.
Well, we gotta start somewhere though.
There's still many thousands of dollars to get from the town of Webb. And it's got to be paid out somewhere.
Last year, $50,000. That isn't in the budget this year. And so the backsliding had already started and monies that weren't coming in. We're hoping to still get that. We're asking for that. We're not suing for that. We're asking for that. We want them to stand up and do what they're supposed to do with the fact that I'll make the statement now. We were on the permits. We were named on the permits. The snowmobile going public thought they were buying permits for both town areas. They should still be sticking to that implied contract that we had, give us the money. That said, we also have money coming back that we laid out, $170,000 for the towers coming back from the federal government. That will allow us to bridge the gap over 3 or 4 years budgets so that we can absorb that into the budget.
Well, I just hate to see taxpayers have to pay more money because of all of this.
I would agree with you. My goal was to make sure there wasn't gonna be a 10, 5, 7% increase in taxes to make the taxpayers swallow it here. But if we could absorb it into what the tax base is for our winter recreation, I think it's still very important to the business community to have that available. And quite honestly, with going free, as the climate thing happens, as the secular thing happens, whatever you want to call what's going on with the winter weather, I think we're going to be better positioned for the next couple of years to handle the snowmobile traffic. They won't have to buy a permit to come here. You know, they can come up on the spur of the moment and not wonder if they're wasting their trip or their money. Or
I get that. I'm just worried about the money aspect of it for everybody.
trust me, I've already received 2 or 3 suggestions from the board of what we could cut. And if we had to, we would be doing some cutting. And it hasn't happened yet. This is just my preliminary suggestion budget. I don't want anybody to think this is locked in stone. I haven't even shared it with the board. They're hearing this as the first right now. I was up, instead of working on my agenda last night, doing a draft budget. Just to see if it was viable before I met the public today.
And if I could say a couple of words,
Sure.
I would like to. It might have looked like from the video that John was doing something on his own, the board wasn't, never need to say. But for the last 6 months, we've been working behind the scenes and agonizing over this whole deal with Old Forge and the discrepancy in the money that we didn't get. And I didn't see any other way we could go. And if we're gonna have to, the only thing that made sense to me was if we're gonna keep getting cut, we're not gonna get our money anyway. And we're gonna do what we're gonna do, let's switch it up and go free. And if we, you know, and John's got an idea, we might not have to cut much. I've got some ideas about cutting. There may be some other avenues out there for some money that might become available to us now that were free, that weren't there when we were doing permits. There's a lot of things that are gonna come together here. I'm hoping that when we get the money that's due us, that's gonna bridge a gap. Cause we're looking at last year's money, which was short. This year's money, we haven't seen anything yet. So, you know, there's still in our budget for this year, as long as we get that money, we're whole. So it's for the future that we really have to plan. And by then, we're gonna have to be looking, and we may have to look at other things too. So I just, you know, but I just wanted to let that out, that John wasn't doing something that wasn't already been talked about a lot before that.
It was a year ago in May, I believe, we went down and had a joint meeting with Webb. It's available online on YouTube. And one of the comments I made at that is, you know, you got to be careful. You're going to push us to going free. And that was the first time publicly I had mentioned it. So it's been out for whatever you want to take that in the public for a year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a surprise or a shock. I know sometimes when the meetings happen, it looks like things are happening in a time capsule right then and there, but they're not. I had another thought. Just left me. I might come back to it.
Yes, John, you may have answered my question, but I wondered if the 2 boards that spoke in regard, or you were aware you were only going to get 50,000 and not %. They're going to be open communication, hopefully between the 2 towns, or you're not aware of that?
From what I understand, from the public bill paying session last night, there won't be any discussion because they're afraid that we're going to be suing them on this. So, you know, we tried having the discussions. We were asking for more discussions. All last fall, I kept calling, you know, and I was told, wait till after budget season, wait till after the new year, wait.
Is it to do a different amount or a different percentage or?
To continue the,
Whatever needed to be talked about.
right, to continue the conversation. We were hoping to continue, you know,
Okay,
moving forward with the same agreement.
okay,
You know, for clarity's sake, under the previous supervisor, we were asked if we would want to go to a set amount.
okay.
We said no, it didn't make sense. And I tried explaining to the previous supervisor that if we went to a set amount, on the years where there was high sales, and that, to me, that would be high volume, you know, we'd be falling short on monies needed for gas, for maintenance, for labor. And on years where it was a lousy winter, like this past winter, it wouldn't be fair to the web. They'd be handing over more money to us than proportionately. The percentage always made sense. We may never have been happy with the 4%,
What?
with the 14%, 17, 20, 22, 25, 38 would have been better. But we may do. And quite honestly, we used that money. I had a conversation with a reporter earlier today, and I said, you know, probably 90% of that money over the years we put directly towards snowmobiling. And there were years where we didn't get as much money, but we still had the expenses.
Sure.
So for us, it evened out. I will make the statement, I've made it before. I don't believe that Webb's been spending their 86% fully on snowmobiling. I don't see how it could possibly happen. But I also understand at the same point as a municipal government, they've got a responsibility for their winter recreation with Macaulay Mountain.
Right.
But the snowmobiling public needs to be fully aware of that and appreciative of that.
Oh, yeah.
I know the taxpayers down there are, and I get that. To Peggy's point, that's a way you're paying for this, that, or the other. But that said, it's not hard to sit here and think new chairlift that's going in at Macaulay Mountain, the money that's needed to do that is coming from where they used to give it to the town of Inlet.
My last question is, do you feel that you're totally done with agreement with Town of Webb, or it's still going to be pursued?
I'll go out on a limb for myself. I can't speak for the board, but if they came back to us tomorrow with the offer of 14%, hey, we didn't realize the full ramifications, whatever. I wouldn't even ask for the apology. For the snowmobiling public, you want to move back to it? I'd be hard pressed to sign on. I'm starting to see a lot of the benefits for the free. And I think right now,
personally agree with John.
Yeah,
I would not go back to Webb with this permit system. I would not do it.
I'm sorry,
I would not go back to the system. I wouldn't
Okay.
do it. That's my
Well-
opinion.
I was told possibly that they told you that they were done. Is that a fact?
yes.
Okay.
Well, and I say, via the town supervisor, and I think she's made that statement at a couple of the board meetings, but most of the conversations have been on phone with the town supervisor, some emails, an email that came to me, and then an email that went to their town board that was supposed to have come to me. And this is all fact.
Thank you.
Anything else, folks? Peggy?
Want to change the subject?
Sure.
Any word on a grant or anything for pickleball courts?
We've just recently lost Mr. Kieferbach, who had been working very hard on that, but I see we've got
Yeah, I didn't know.
Robin here.
No, you were looking for something for the pickleball.
He was looking for an all-encompassing grant for the parks to do something with both the pavilion, the ice rink, I believe the field, but you had a whole bunch of stuff, right, Mike, that you were working with him on?
Yes, and the Fern Park has started a new master plan group. So over the next year or so, we're gonna be looking at options for Fern Park, and including what should be added, what should be changed, kept, fixed. So Dan is part of this group, and he thinks what we really need is something on paper before we can really go after these bigger grants to really get a lot of things. So we haven't forgotten about pickleball. It probably will be included in the new Fern Park master plan. But until we have a piece of paper, a map showing where everything will work, you know, it is what it is.
And I believe if I read in your report, you've got an option for pickleball. You might be painting lines.
I'm hoping to. I spent a couple hours out there this week trying to tape lines. Didn't work out. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully paint some lines on one of the tennis courts in Arrowhead.
So that we at least have something in the meantime, because we were hopeful that there was going to be a pickleball court available up at the golf course, and obviously that's not happening now either.
Great, but
And we still have the court at Fern Park inside the.
Inside the.
I mean, I did a lot of footwork to get prices
Mhm.
with Mike and worked with Mike, and we found a spot up at Burns Park.
Mhm.
And I talked to Dal, and she was gonna put that in the master plan. I don't know if that happened or not, but
We just
had a first meeting today to relook at that master plan, like Mike said, and we're gonna map the park out and see what fits where before we start looking for grants.
But is that still an option where we talked about, Mike, where the,
It could be, or it could be somewhere else. You know, we have a few people with different ideas and, we're gonna try to all come together and draw the best picture for Fern Park's future.
It kind of fell apart after like 19, wasn't it? We got to like 2019, 2020, and then it kind of just lost momentum, I guess.
I just think you guys are missing out on a big sport. It would be a big draw to have that.
I agree. We do have options for it, so it's not like we're totally ignoring it. But just to invest, I mean, we met with the guy, $120,000 for 2 courts is, you know, a lot of money without a grant to go along.
And the private grants weren't falling off the tree that I believe Dan was hoping that there might be one out there. Obviously, other things, and I'll use the word, probably shouldn't in a public meeting, that are a little more sexy are playgrounds. The Wattis Foundation giving the grant for the new playground that just went in here. I hate to say, but those are easier to find.
What's wrong with the others?
It was showing its signs of wear and needed quite a bit of work. And I believe it was sold privately to somebody, correct?
It was.
Yeah, where they don't have the same concerns as the municipality.
And the Wattis grant was extremely helpful for making that happen along with the public donations. And I mean, we kind of hit it out of the park with Wattis giving us the money, us getting the job done quickly. So, you know, come this fall, when we're looking for more money, we can go back to Wattis with other ideas, pickleball, more playground stuff, whatever, and we have a good foot in the door, so.
Yeah, they'd like to see people that have gotten it done.
That would be nice to have separate pickleballs that they didn't have to share with us.
I'm with you, but until then, at least I agree. Anybody else from the public? There'll be another chance at the end of the meeting if you think of something, and I remember what I was going to try and say earlier. Ambient powered, I believe on the Zoom call we have.
Ryan?
Is he still there?
Yeah, good evening. I'm with you.
Hi, Brian. I was hoping you could give us an update on all things ambient power and the 10% electric discount and how signups are going, what we need to do if something different is happening.
Yeah, I've got some updates. So some exciting updates. So number one, the town's accounts have now gone live. So the on either your latest electric bill or the previous month's electric bill, you should now have started receiving the benefits of the program. So I think it was like, you know, it was like $150 worth of savings so far, but that will increase as we get into the better weather. So that was number one, the town's accounts having gone live. That also means that you will have a bill with credits on it that can be submitted to NYSERDA to take advantage of the community solar subscription action item, which will get you some points through the Clean Energy Communities program. So that was number one. Number two, I had actually shared that with, I guess it was Connie, that we have reached the 10 subscriber threshold. So the community has had 10 subscribers. I think when we originally launched, we were looking for mostly small businesses. Some of those 10 are residential subscribers, which we will of course, honor, and those folks will be enrolled in the program and receive a 10% discount through their subscription. There are several businesses in there as well. And then the the last update I had was that we are running out of capacity for residential subscribers. So we're, nearing the end of that capacity. We have a very large portfolio of projects that is specifically for small commercial customers, some large commercial customers as well. So what I thought we could talk about, you all could talk about, is if you wanted to do an additional kind of campaign, some outreach, some networking to small businesses in the area, offering them this discount through community solar. That will continue to be a 10% savings offer. So those are my updates. If we did want to start a new campaign for small business outreach, I would want to kind of get with some folks and sort of restart the initiative. Provide you with some handouts, maybe get some emails going, maybe through the Chamber of Commerce or the like in the area there. And for Inlet businesses, you'll continue to get credit for those enrollments, and be able to count them towards the Clean Energy Communities campaign action item.
Brian, this is Connie. Did you?
Hi, Connie.
You reached out to everybody that was on the list, took care of Denny and Herb and
Yep, I started getting emails.
Dan.
I haven't got any yet.
Okay, so all those people were on the list that everybody was attached to there. So they wanted to, some of them have businesses and some of them just, have residences. So I want to make sure that they got in, that Denny is also going to be able to attach his account to an existing system and get the 10%.
Because he's still
Yeah,
waiting
so
for it.
Denny is all squared away. I think I mentioned that. And then Herb is all squared away as well. Any residential enrollments that have come through will continue to be honored. And then
For how long?
yeah, for probably about a month's time, something like that. And
then
that's not to say that they won't continue to receive anyone who has signed up already, whether it be their residential account or their small business account. It's a program that is ongoing, meaning they will continue to receive their discount for as long as they choose to participate. And then it's only new residential enrollments where we have this limited capacity now, and probably doesn't make sense to do new residential outreach. It would make sense to do new small business outreach because we continue to have a lot of capacity for that type of subscription.
Yeah, I've kind of resisted signing up for the residential myself, just in case somebody else wanted it in town. But did you sign up for business or personal?
I'm gonna, if you haven't had me hooked in, I'll do the business part then. If you're telling me that's where the openings are.
But right now, you still.
You're to maximum capacity, is that what you're getting at?
We're getting close to maximum capacity for residential accounts, just for residential accounts.
So Dan, you could potentially do both.
So yeah, folks that are there now can potentially do both.
Okay.
Yep. And then we will continue for a long time to come, probably, to have availability for small business and some large commercial accounts. So if folks have if folks who are there, who have my contact information, have questions about that, please reach out to me. My email is in that email thread we had going, as well as my phone number. Happy to take a phone call on it as well. And then we can also, if it's decided that you want to do some small business outreach, continue to make the small business community aware that this is an option for some guaranteed savings, then we can do that. We just kind of we'd want to restart it and make sure you have everything you need.
Thank you.
Yeah, they-
For the small business, if we did a second campaign, we have to go another 10 or we have to reach the 50?
What is the threshold?
It would be, yeah, the thresholds are, there's the initial 10, which you all have hit. The next threshold would be 50. And as I said, we can continue to take some residential enrollments. We just wouldn't want to go wild doing that because, you know, at some point there'll be a wait list. Now, that wait list does get serviced because we have thousands of customers on our projects that, you know, they move and can't continue their subscription, and then that leaves a vacant spot that we can offer to somebody else.
Okay. Any other questions? If anybody's interested, especially businesses, make a contact. Thank you. Thank you for explaining it and
Thank you.
and clearing some stuff up and getting things on track.
Yeah, you got it. And if there's anything else I can do, if you did want to kind of restart that campaign, happy to get together with someone from the town and kind of get that going again.
If it's the business side of it, I think that probably come from the Inlet Area Business Association. Have you had a lot of
Community task force.
having community task force, two of them?
And hopefully we have.
They're kind of interwoven a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
Ryan,
great.
thank you.
So some of you guys have my contact information. Feel free to share that openly.
Okay.
Brian, you're gonna go ahead and send on, to NYSERDA our, that we've gotten to the 10?
Yeah, was it Robin? Who's Dan's replacement there?
Robin is here tonight.
Okay. Robin, would you be involved in that at all, or
Help, sure.
Yep.
okay.
I'll just get with you. I'm not familiar with it. You know, I'll have to get with you to figure out what you need me to do.
Yeah, I should be. I think perhaps you'd be helpful in restarting the campaign. I should be able to, you know, do what's needed for the submittal to NYSERDA.
Great. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good night.
All right, brings us to the Fern Park Master Plan that kind of touched on a little bit, but JT, is this you?
Is it no meeting?
What? Or anybody want to give an update on the Fern Park Master Plan so far?
Well, it was a small group, like I said, Tim was there,
Yeah.
Mike, myself, Dan Kieferbach. What's his name? Ray Cardella.
Oh, did I put it the wrong person, JT? Was I supposed to put it Tim?
No, that was my name on the email.
Oh, it was your name on the email.
Mr. Townsend, are you gonna be involved, being that it's a parks program? And-
Yeah, I never knew there was a meeting, and I couldn't have made it today anyways. I had a doctor appointment.
Well, great, we look forward to having you part of.
Sorry, JT. All right, Tim, how about you?
I think we're gonna move forward. There's a lot of thoughts. But we think the main direction, like I said earlier, we need to get a plan and a survey of what can happen. Because we can't really submit for anything until we have the information we need to, you know, decide we want to, you know, pickleball, or we want this or we want that. We have to get some kind of a plan together.
Yeah, and we didn't set another meeting yet because we all went with some homework to work on, and hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have our homework done and
Right, we'll have.
then we'll
yeah.
set another
We'll
meeting.
probably know something by the next meeting, I would say.
Very good.
Yeah, send that out if you would. I had some discussions with Mike, and he probably already brought them up, but we had some ideas.
Actually, he did save some of it to talk about.
Perfect. Okay.
But yeah, I'll include it.
All right.
All right, we'll have more at the next meeting. This is a good way to get started and get that back on track. My buzz statement for the spring is get back on track. I've used that in email quite a bit in the last couple of days. Communications, speaking of being back on track, After a long and exhaustive search, we finally found an equipment shelter in Yates County, down near Penn Yan. We made an offer for a youth shelter that's going to need quite a bit of modification of $5,000. The offer was accepted by Yates County yesterday at their meeting. Hamilton County is offered to move it for free. This is a shared communication shed between All Things Communications on the Hill. So it's a county, town, cellular project, whatever you want to call it. This is the last piece that we need. Obviously, you've seen the towers are standing up over there. The branches are on them. AT&T has their equipment on their tower. We're waiting for T-Mobile to put the equipment on their tower. National Grid dropped off, as you can see by the pictures here, spools of cable, transformers, and a backhoe. They're going to start pulling wire. I'm eagerly anticipating the fact that AT&T might get their cell tower up and running before summer. I'm not promising that, but everything that I've been told is all AT&T needs is power. As far as the emergency communications angle, this shelter has been the last missing piece, and the county and Tarpon weren't willing to go out on a limb and pour a pad last fall for a shelter, not knowing what size and what the requirements were going to be for the shelter. Now that we have a firm offer accepted on a shelter and a plan to pick it up, the engineers have a bid going out today or tomorrow for pouring the pad for the generator and for the shelter. Right now, it's looking like they're not going to be putting some of the equipment on the tower or into that shelter until September. As far as emergency communications, I'm not happy about that. But the pace of this moving has been glacier. But the last thing that they've been looking for us to do is get a shelter and find a way to get it there. $5,000 for the shelter, and it's going to need retrofitting out of the monies that were raised for probably around $50,000, all in electrical, air conditioning, the whole 9 yards. Is a damn sight better than the $400,000 offer we had when we went out to bid. But the trade-off is time. If we'd had the $400,000 to spend on that shelter, which in my opinion would have been criminal, we'd be done with that portion of it. But we do have a responsibility to the taxpayers to move forward in a respectful manner to the taxes, as pointed out earlier tonight. I'll keep you posted, but it's happening. I'll believe more when I see the pad for the concrete up there and the shelter sitting on there and it being retrofitted. Robin.
Do you anticipate needing any money out of the donation account reimbursement?
Maybe the $5,000 for Yates County. Have some of it been converted back in, or is it still all rolled over?
No, the majority, we can get out whatever we need to according to the bank whenever we need it.
Okay.
But to a 6 months CD.
Okay. Yeah.
From a 90-day. So, I just need to know how much and when, as long as I get an invoice from the town with, proof of payment, I can turn around and get a check cut back to you.
All right. As soon as we get that proof of payment from Yates County, we're authorizing the spending of the $5,000 tonight. So we'll get that to you.
This might be a stupid question, but I presume both towers have an emergency standby generator system.
Right now, AT&T has their own. This generator that we're putting up there is to back up the emergencies and the town's equipment for the county. Both counties, anything that's going to be in that shelter will be on that power, shared power. So, and I believe if T-Mobile comes up, there's not a lot of room for them to go into the shelter. I believe they're probably going to hang an equipment on base of their tower, just like AT&T has done. That seems to be the way all the cell companies go these days.
Have you heard from T-Mobile lately?
No. Nope. And that's all Tarpon. Quite honestly, I had known nothing until National Grid showed up with the cable and the transformers, and they didn't let Tarpon know they were coming until they said they did an inspection on the conduit. that was ready to be used last fall. Good news, partially good news, moving forward. Any other questions on the communications? Planning board,
We haven't had a meeting since your last meeting,
Gotcha.
meetings before your meeting, so nothing.
nothing new. Still waiting for updates on the master plan. Assessor codes, parks building, our packets are all attached. See representatives from each department. I'll go around the room. Adele, we'll start with you. Information, anything you want to highlight?
No. I mean, remind people that the Memorial Day parade is gonna be here. The American Legion is looking for floats, and they're gonna give cash prizes for the best floats this year, so.
Are you around Memorial Day?
I am going to be here Memorial Day. Yes, but I'm probably gonna be leaving on Tuesday.
You be available to do any welcoming remarks at the parade
I mean, March.
and stand up on the dais?
Yes, I
I just, with everything going on with my wife, I can't day to day promise that I would be there.
Okay.
And it tears me apart not to be there, because I have, honestly, as you can tell, I love to speak in front of the public.
I'll be your backup.
Thank you, sir. So I know Margie was looking for that commitment a while ago.
Our principal speaker is gonna be Keith Kelly.
Awesome.
Commissioner.
So he's got plenty of time to get nervous.
Yep.
Parks, anything you'd like to highlight, sir?
We've been extremely busy getting things ready for summer. Still have a bunch of things to do, but we've been able to knock out a lot of little projects and try to make things look pretty at Town Hall, in the park, at Burn. So, pretty happy with our success so far this year. Like to thank Sean and the highway guys for helping us out here and there with the little projects as well. I guess Burn Park, as Adele mentioned, since we're gonna go free with snowmobiling, we're gonna have issues with parking. I really think we need to make our parking area at Fern a more permanent landmark. The back end of Fern Park, we've always used for parking. Boat parking, trailer parking, snowmobile trailer parking, parking for Fall Fest, overflow parking. Unfortunately, it's kind of a sand pit.
Yeah.
It's all rutted up with random stones, rocks, pieces of grass growing here and there. It's impossible to mow. So I think it would really behoove the town to, make that permanent, make it look nice. We combine it for, our events, just to make parking there easier for everything.
Low maintenance when we're done, it'd be nice.
I mean, it's a large area. We can put
Yeah.
a lot of trailers there. And it's really not used green space. So we're not really giving up anything useful.
And this would fit in with the master plan early talks?
I think it would be good to get it done before the master plan plans anything else out.
So do I.
Yeah.
So get that
Makes
taken
sense.
care of. I mean, I don't know anything about building a parking lot. And I'm not saying it has to be paved. Stone would probably be fine. So I don't know the cost, how much stone we would need, if I even have it in my budget, or the town has some other budget we use to make it happen.
I think you'd start with stone and let it settle for at least a year before you ever thought of paving it anyways, because it would just probably break off.
I mean, I don't know if pavement even makes sense in
I don't.
the park, but I think it's something we should look at trying to do.
Well, just because of the underlayment that you talked about, the fact that that is basically a big sand deposit there.
Yeah.
You're talking, you go to, no matter what you put in there and you go to pave it, you're probably at some point gonna have issues, but at least with the sand, you'd have good drainage.
Yes.
I think it's a budget conversation for sure.
I don't know if John would have some time to come look at it.
I'd hate to wait that
Give me
long though, if we're gonna need it
estimate
this
on what
year.
it costs.
We can measure it and see how much
Yeah.
gravel. it would
I
take
get an
to do
idea
what
what
we
you
gotta do.
need.
We can measure it up.
Well, I didn't mean waiting for budget, but it's a budget, it's,
I was afraid you meant
the-
waiting for fall, like,
The budget officer's got to look and see where we are with the money. And it's a good thing our clerk just got back from finance school.
Yeah, money and time, because obviously it's nothing I'm gonna do with a shovel and a rake.
no.
So it'd be an effort. with highway, with trails, with anybody. Even if we had to hire it out, I don't know.
I mean, normally I would try and come up with some of that out of the Fern Park allocation anyways, but I see by your report that we're gonna need a new liner for the ice rink and some other things, so
That's little money.
little money. Gotcha.
Yeah, youth commission's gonna help with them.
Oh, well then,
There you go.
the plan's coming together.
Perfect.
If we,
I just have no, I can't even give you a ballpark. I don't know
Right.
if it's $1,000 or $20,000 or $100,000.
again, maybe if Sean wouldn't mind at least looking at it with us or getting somebody to come up from one of our suppliers to help look at, because again, it would be, what can we put down that we're not wasting money on? And it would be able to move forward with, rather than dumping something on the ground that's not gonna be sustainable.
Square footage, Mike, you got a ballpark, what you,
I have no idea.
200 by 200, I just,
Sure. Honestly, I
Gotta start somewhere. I just didn't know if you had an idea what would fit.
It's probably 120 by, 200 or 300, I would assume.
Let's try to think a little bigger in anticipation of all these trailers and stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
he is right, though. Everything
yeah.
we do before we're done, well, it should have been bigger. The truck won't fit in the youth commission building. Whereas, they can't open the door now. You'd say,
Well,
how'd they get missed? You say,
and the word's been getting out, every year there's more boat trailers up there. Once they notice,
full last year.
yep, full.
Yeah.
So,
And
All
they
right.
just park anywhere. So
Yeah.
if we had it looked like designated spots.
more organized.
Everyone's life easier.
very good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything else for parks?
No, I don't think so.
To the playground, how do you like the slides?
Yeah, playground, awesome.
Did you try the slide?
I did. I was the second one down.
Let me guess, Frank was first.
No, it was good.
I went
All the feedback from the kids I've heard so far is they love it. I mean, it's a huge upgrade from what we had and we got some new sand around it. It's great. We do have another piece of playground coming. It's gonna be a little climbing wall and some new benches. They're on the boat from China. They'll be here mid-June. And that's something hopefully my department will install ourselves. So yeah, it's awesome. I'm super excited. I hope we can raise more money and, replace some other things too.
And I do want to point out, even though Charlie Ayer's not here, the placard on the bathhouse looks really, really nice.
I think that was a perfect spot.
Perfect spot for it. Robin?
I just wanted to say that the donation account remains open. We're leaving $500 in there so that for future projects, we can easily accept that and keep it on.
You said there have to be deposits every month?
No, the bank says to keep it from going dormant, at least a deposit per year.
Oh,
And so we've got enough, we've got enough
is there a minimal on there?
going, but they just want
Yeah, you've got to give $500 a year, Tim.
Okay.
Take 50 out.
$50.
Okay, gotta do it once a year.
There's no minimum.
So there's some kind of transaction in there.
at least annual.
Some transaction.
All right, very good. Thank you, Robin. Codes.
Most of my report there, been pretty busy. I think I added it up earlier today and building permits are up about 56% compared to this time last year.
Wow.
So town has been busy. I have been busy. I'm not in my office. If anybody comes by, I'm usually out in and out in the afternoons. Leave me a message on my phone, shoot me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Very good. And 65 active permits, did you say in your report?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Assessing.
My hours for the legal review that I have to post are in our program here. And I'm willing to meet with anybody whenever anybody wants to come to the office. I'm there Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, most weeks. And you can make a call or make an appointment, and then I'll make sure I'm there.
Very good. All right, that brings us to Highway Department.
We plowed and sanded, hauled garbage and recyclables. We started sweeping downtown parking lots, town and county roads. Once the postings were lifted. We raked the gravel section of the Uncas Road. Then graded the gravel section of the Uncas Road well after we graded or raked it. Checked the Moose River Plains to see conditions of the roads, shouldn't be too awful bad this year, getting in there, just some washouts, and some trees down. But I think hopefully we'll be successful in getting the gates open on time. Cut the blacktop for the sidewalk replacement. Been cleaning up the stump dump and the hard fill sites. Been a really busy spring. It's a lot of stuff been coming in, stumps and dirt, concrete. We put the dock in at the Fourth Lake Boat Launch today, finally. Coming up, gonna haul garbage and recyclables. We're gonna finish our sweeping. We have a few roads left to do. We're gonna replace some bad sections of the sidewalk starting on Monday. Hoping to have it wrapped up by Thursday if the weather cooperates. Then we're gonna move on to getting the Moose River Plains Road open. And we're gonna blacktop over the new culvert on Parkhurst Road. And we're gonna hang the hometown hero banners on the poles for the Legion. Our annual roadside brush pickup will be the week of June 3rd to the 6th. All brushes to be out by the roadside. Call my office to get put on the list. Not sure when, but sometime soon, gonna strike parking lots here in town because they need it badly. And we're gonna work on painting our plow equipment. And that's all I have in my report for highway.
Any questions with highway?
I'd like to discuss the state plow route,
Okay,
possibly even getting off of it. Think we should talk about it?
we can talk about it. I don't agree with it, just so you know where I'm coming from.
Okay.
If we do that, we're gonna have to downsize our highway department. We're gonna lose some laborers if we do that, in my opinion.
Why? We have
Um,
somebody retiring and we're short a person. So
We're short one person right now, so it would still leave us possibly overstaffed year round. I think we need to take a long, hard look at it.
Right.
I'd like to see the numbers where they fell in with the increased monies that they were going to be paying out on the bills. See if we're even close to what they said we were gonna be able to make payments for our labor and for our equipment. If we're not making the payments for the labor and the equipment, then I'm in favor of doing whatever we have to do.
Yeah, I know last year we looked at numbers, preliminary numbers, it didn't look real pretty. I know that the state increased the amount that they're reimbursed this year, but we didn't have a lot of plowing. Now, I know that they were out a lot, so, maybe that's gonna show a difference, but you got a $300,000 truck or whatever it is coming.
358,000.
And that's a lot of money to pay back on something that I don't think we're making anything on. My personal opinion.
But again, we're not looking to make money on it, but we're looking to break even and keep
We
the
need to
staff.
be in the positive end of life.
Correct.
If we are in the negative or we're just making a couple thousand and then there's a huge repair, we're in the hole. And that's my opinion. I think he's had a really hard time trying to find somebody that he can run there. I think we were lucky this year that we didn't have a hard winter as far as being able to do things, because I know he's done stuff with the side roads and tried to manipulate with what he's got to work with. And I think there's another path forward, and I think we need to really seriously look at it before this truck comes.
And I'm with you, but I will make the statement, there will be less employees at the highway department.
Whatever's gotta happen's gotta happen. The budget already covers the employees that are up there. The only difference is the overtime and the winter time, couple, 3 months that they're plowing during regular hours. That's the only difference.
We need to take a really close look at it.
Because the rest of the year, under the big money we get is the overtime that goes directly to the employees. My opinion.
We need to take a look at the whole picture and slice and dice where the revenues came in, where they're not coming in.
This would be a good time to cut free. Before we take on a $45,000 year payment, that would close almost a third of our snowmobile budget gap.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Even if
We need to do it before we take that truck, because if that comes in,
the answer might be not that truck, the answer might be a different truck. But let's take a look at everything.
Yeah, let's take a look at everything, because it may be another truck and it may be, we wait a year or two and see what we
And ride it
need
out.
before we get a
Cause
truck.
we still have a truck,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
sell one.
Yeah. I'm one person.
Yeah, but the waiting a year's already been taken care of because you can't get the truck.
You're not gonna get a truck in a year.
No, we're not gonna get the truck.
2.5, 3 years.
Yep.
Truck.
Yep.
So, but we have to know what we want before we order it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, so
I'm
you
with
can't, yeah, okay, so everybody else got an opinion, that's mine.
I had talked to Sean about it. He was in favor of getting off the state. But he seemed in favor of that because he can't find CDL people. We're using smaller trucks on the side roads. We're alleviating that problem. The state can certainly cover it. We can rent them a Salt Bay lane. We can rent them a bay of the garage.
We hope. My fear is, and it's been my fear, is they would try and push out of the old Forge barn. There's no way they can come out of, Long Lake or Indian Lake and service us.
What does it wouldn't be our problem,
I understand that,
you know?
but they're already stretched pretty thin down there right now. And one of the benefits for us doing it, quite honestly, had always been the fact that, in my opinion, we're putting the salt on a lot more judiciously.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times running down to the pharmacy in Old Forge this year, as soon as I hit Eagle Bay, I'm gagging on white dust coming in through the vents. We didn't have that issue in Inlet, but anyways, let's look at the whole picture.
We gotta look at the whole picture, because, I agree with you. The only thing that has changed in my mind that's changed in the years is I've always wanted that control to be able to do that road.
Yep.
But I think we're losing it. That's, again,
If the state's not paying their fair share for us to do it, let's take a look at it.
yep.
Okay.
I mean,
Other
you can
people's
ask,
thoughts?
you
What do
can
you
ask
think?
Dan and
What do you
John
think?
what they.
I'm in the same way. You spend 400,000 on a truck, you want to get your return back, or we'll be in the same boat. But we invest in the snowmobile trail program, and next thing you know, they drop you like a hot rock, and you're like, well, geez.
Yeah,
Imagine that, we buy this truck and, well, we're gonna do it ourselves anyway. In other words, we don't need this, and did this for you. I don't know if you want to do that for free either. So,
right.
so I'm just saying, I get why they're concerned as the stuff goes up. Our money from the transfer station got dropped. I mean, you just see this keep trickling now. This is dropped. Inlet can't carry the county and the state. They can't. So these guys are trying to look out for them funds too.
Well, and that's where Tracy fought the hard fight from the county angle to get more money into that kitty.
And he did. I commend
I
him.
want to see where that works, because quite honestly, the other thing that the county highway and the town highways have been fighting for years with the state is to get more CHIPS money. And yet again, in this year's budget, they did not increase the CHIPS money. Stayed flat. So, the state keeps turning their back on the fact that the highway fund, they think the materials cost the same year after year after year after year, and they don't.
It costs the same to maintain it no matter what placards on the door. That's the part they gotta recognize.
One more thing I want to throw out there is we still be doing the county roads. So there's still revenue coming in
From that aspect.
that end of it.
Yeah.
So, because,
Still be doing the sidewalks as well.
and whatever things you
That's-
work out with them to do, right?
Right.
It'll still be done. So,
There's still revenue to be made, but
John, got a thought over there?
I too would like to see the numbers first. I mean, I don't want to lose 2 hours of somebody waiting for the road to be plowed. Because they gotta go all the way to Brackett and then all the way to McKeever and turn back around and come back.
Yeah, no, I realize, yep. When I used to go to work at the school, at 4 o'clock in the morning, nothing was plowed a lot of times.
Right, so.
So, but anyway,
My concern is the roads.
yeah.
And the money, but
All right, we'll take a big look at it. How about transfer?
We're back on our summer hours, open 7 days a week from 8 AM to 11:45 and then 1 PM, 6:45 PM. Closed from 12 to 1 daily for lunch. Peter's back over to the transfer station for 3 days and 1 day with the highway department. Just be sure to enter the building before proceeding to the outside bins. If there's any questions on the transfer station guidelines, they're on the town's website and they have them at the transfer station. If you have any questions or need assistance, please don't hesitate to ask the attendant. We are here to help.
It's looking good up there still. They're doing a good job, and the single stream is working out okay.
Yeah, I wish we had bigger bins. I wish we could compact it, but
A lot more hauling,
more hauling.
a lot more hauling.
A lot more hauling for sure. I lose a guy 1 day a week, or not 1 day a week, but a couple days a week in the summertime for hauling.
And that's another thing we need to look at up there. Is,
The reimbursement on that?
no, that's gone.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I think we're gonna need to start pairing some expenses there too. That's just another thing we need to look at.
Everything's open.
Yep.
All right, town clerk's report.
Ready to put trails in? I had a little thing.
Oh, trails, go ahead. I forgot to put trails
Jeff
in there.
isn't here, but anyway, he has started some trail work.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't bring a picture, but he started behind him. He's heading, you know, excellent. I looked the other morning, but I didn't take a picture.
Can it be shared up onto the screen?
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa, let's see.
you might ask the right guy though, if it can be done. I'm just.
Maybe when we go to do that, for adjourn, I'll have it by then.
It's just, no, he started shaping, working his way toward.
I just thought I'd wake Denny up.
I'm here.
The camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody here, widening.
Widening. De-rocking it, but it's,
You know where that is?
Yeah, do you
Yes.
know where it is?
it is right coming out of the end of his field, heading toward Inlet. That's where that is.
So that's the trail over towards Gilbert,
Yes, but it's the end starting.
right
from-
over on that side.
On that
That's
side.
one of the trails that has needed the most work.
Yeah, and especially with this storm dilemma, it's our main thoroughfare through town, you know what I mean? So that's the first one he should hit. He's doing a good job.
Very good.
We could use some form of dump truck. Somehow we need to figure that mess out. He doesn't have a truck. He used his own this. I said, I'll bring it up with you guys. I'll bring it up with Sean. I don't know when there's.
Maybe highway's got one they don't need now. I'm just kidding. It's
Actually, I was thinking about the old one.
my sense of humor. Please take that as a sense of humor.
Have conversation.
So,
Okay.
well, I'm bringing it up now, so I'm just, I don't know what to, I didn't know that he used his own dump truck. I said, well, you don't got a truck, you only got a dump truck. I said, well, I guess we'll have to look into this. I gotta start somewhere.
Either,
He never asked.
no.
Well, I'm asking for him, but we're gonna have to do something when he does that trail work.
We'll work together on that. Find a way.
Or maybe that even a schedule or something. I don't know, Sean. So I'll catch up with you. Appreciate that.
Anything else for trails?
Nope, that's good for now.
All right. Town clerk. I'll put that back in next month.
All right,
The only
thank you.
thing I have is, we had tabled the idea of supporting the, maintain the chain. Because we needed to know how much we gave them last year to make a decision.
I want to rephrase that, not supporting the idea. We wanted to make sure we were supporting it the right way.
Okay.
The way you
Yeah.
said that made it sound like we weren't thinking of doing it.
Oh, no, for the amount, for what amount that we want to give. And last year I looked it up, we gave them $1,000.
For the maintain the chain.
Same?
Just leave it the same.
Yeah. I think it's fine.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Tim,
I'll second it.
seconded by Dan. Discussion. I fully support the maintain the chain. I think it's been an excellent grassroots endeavor. And they're pulling more and more people in on the website. It's
A lot of stuff out.
and pulling a lot of stuff out. Some of the scuba diving stuff that was put up there by a guy named Treppel. Mike Treppel, yep. Pretty interesting. You go for a swim in the lake and you don't know what quite's underneath you there. So getting some of this stuff out after all these years would be a nice idea. I know we deal with that at our beach because the old hotel used to drag stuff out. And when I say old hotel, hundreds of years ago, drag stuff in the winter out on the ice. And I believe when one of the hotels burned, it was all dragged out on the ice.
Every day. You can find it in the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
so,
day it just goes back, out of everything.
but at least we're on the other side of it where we're taking stuff out and maintain the chain's been a huge part of that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, I've got down here the 2022-23 and 23-24 old snowmobile permit program funds. I'd like us to send a letter to the town of Webb formally requesting to be made whole on the permits for those 2 years. And this is a request. This isn't, a suit at this point in time. I think first thing saying, we haven't gotten our money above the $50,000 and we haven't received anything from the last year yet.
I think that's fine. I've been in contact with Waddy. I've had 2 or 3 meetings with Waddy. We're trying to work with Brian
Mhm.
and see where that's gonna head with this. And then I could have Waddy put another letter together that includes a lot of these figures that I have here that I've been working on with Bonnie, and Dell gave me some figures. And so I've got a little bit better idea of where we're at. I still need a couple more things, but I have a number. I will have Waddy put another letter together and we will send another letter to them.
Put in our
I'm
groomer
fine.
numbers, put in our direct, so
Well-
they can clarify it. What is their holdback is what I'd want to know.
To me, this was,
Put the money in.
this was creating a platform to start again from saying, you know, this is what's owed, just simple, no threats, just please, we're formally
I
requesting.
don't think there was any threats in the last letter. I think it was a letter of demand, and this is gonna be the same thing, if that's what you.
The way the letter was received, I believe down below, it seemed like they felt it was almost like we're going right to a lawsuit. They're going right to a lawsuit because it came from a lawyer. They felt like they're under, they can't talk to us because it's under threat of a lawsuit.
So you think we should just write it without a lawyer?
No.
Okay, no, I'm curious.
Just a simple letter on town letterhead requesting the funds for those 2 years. And do I think we're gonna get the money back from them? No, but again, give them an opportunity with an olive branch. Without any implied threat on top of it.
If that's what you want, to do, I'm fine. I'll do
I'm
whatever
fine with it.
you wanna
I'm
do,
fine
but
with
I think we're gonna need to continue down a road that and we just need to
We
keep.
run that by our legal. Or we send it.
I'll just,
I'm hoping we don't have to. I'm hoping we've made the decision. We're gonna go free.
Right.
We you know, they've cut us off they've canceled the agreement. And this is my tongue in cheek. They've canceled the agreement. They said that was never in place. So, you know, since they've canceled an agreement that's never been in place, then we would like the monies that were due prior to that cancellation.
okay,
Fair statement. but I
okay,
just wanted
so,
to run it
so
by.
you're gonna do that?
Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that and I'll send it to the board for
And we'll
approval
get it out relatively.
relatively quickly.
Okay.
All right. And because if that's, well, exactly, if
yeah.
that's their desire to have canceled it, then, and we're going free, then let's clear the air and move forward.
Make it
So
all
let's
done.
get the negatives out of the way and move forward in a positive manner.
Can I ask a question about?
Sure.
I think that is a great idea, but my question is, do you think since we cut ties with them and we're going free, that they feel they can give us that money?
You still provided a service from prior years. That was what the money was for. So I don't know.
And my narrative is gonna be, we were on the permits. You know,
We were.
the public thought they were buying and spending the monies with both towns. It's just a simple, you know, so let's, okay, now we're not gonna, I guess they're gonna print new ones for next year that don't have us on there. You know, let's,
I'm in agreement of everything you're saying, but
Yeah.
I just thinking they're
Just kicking the can.
differently.
it can't hurt to try. And put the positive face forward. See if it's received and accepted. Streetlight upgrade to LEDs. I didn't know if we'd had a thought about going out and doing a survey on the streetlights. We talked about it at one point.
Oh, yeah, well, we don't have the van anymore, but I know, it was fun when we had the van, we could all go around and look at the streetlights.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fine.
All right,
Yeah, let me know.
I'll try and get something together. I don't know, how long are you in town?
Until probably the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
Okay,
Oh, so-
Yeah, well, it's either gonna go Monday or Tuesday, but now it sounds like Tuesday.
all right. We do have an executive session. I didn't mean to drop it in front of the public comment. We're gonna have to go into executive session. It'd probably be a rather lengthy executive
What do you wanna do?
session. So we're gonna do the public comment. I'm moving it ahead of executive session. If anybody has anything like that, Joanne?
Yes, John, I'd like to ask if you're changing the board meeting nights or we were a little confused.
Well, apparently it didn't confuse people too much because this is a pretty, a rather large turnout for a Wednesday night.
Well, find out it was gonna be today.
Okay. I don't know, what's the board's pleasure? I mean, the one thought on this was, you know, Adele's put it in her report that it'd be nice for the boards to meet, to get together, whatever. If we can't make that happen, well, let's make it available so that they can come up here. I see one member, I think, up here. Sorry to point you out, but I waited till the end of the meeting to do it.
Thank you for coming.
But then the same thing happens, then we'll be able to go down for their meetings. And quite honestly, I know two of the members have spoken very wishfully of being able to go down there. Just if we're sitting in the room, maybe some of this, for lack of a better word, BS doesn't happen.
Well, we do online, but not a whole lot online, but I looked at the post office and I came, to look at the town clerk just to see if it was posted anywhere.
I only had it online, I'm sorry. And on my
Okay.
Facebook page, I had it, yeah.
Yeah.
What's,
I was just asking.
are we thinking Wednesday or no?
Well, Wednesday's not the best day for me. It isn't. I'm just telling you, it's not. I got other things to do, but I could probably make it work. You know, I'm not excited about the change. That's what it's out.
Or you could change the first Tuesday instead of the second, if that was easier. I don't know.
I think
No, we can't, actually.
you can't do the first Tuesday because of bills.
No, and moving it to the third Tuesday doesn't work. It pushes it too late.
Yeah.
Quite honestly,
What is it, the second Wednesday?
He's saying,
It just doesn't work.
well, Tuesdays, the court has come through and made it quite clear to us that this is a courtroom first,
Well, I guess I didn't know.
New York State courts. So anytime there's a scheduling different, a conflict with that, we're trying to avoid it. And according to New York State courts, it's easier for us to move our board meeting than it is to move the court night. So,
yeah, and the DA is the third Tuesday, which causes that problem for, where the other courts, they're usually out. We usually don't have an issue, but anyway, go ahead.
can we try moving forward? Maybe for the summer to see if the second Wednesday of the month works.
Whatever you pick.
Yeah,
You wanna try it?
I guess we'll try it. Like I said,
Okay, so
I don't want to lose a board member over, I don't. I'm just.
I don't think you're gonna, but you're gonna lose me eventually.
Okay.
Okay,
I mean, it's just.
not because of that.
Yeah.
Mike won't be coming. See, already we got.
You already lost some people like that.
So that would make it the 12th of June instead of the 11th that I've got on the meeting, or the agenda for tonight. For the foreseeable future, until the end of August, we're gonna do Wednesday nights. We'll see if it works and we'll make it permanent. And again, one of the main reasons for this, after the court telling us what we had to do, and when I say courts, New York State courts, not just our court, is so that we can maybe get some information going back and forth, a representative from each board going to the meetings. I think it works out and it's beneficial.
Especially now we're so close.
I'd like to see.
Just saying, maybe we're a little late. Let's try it.
I'm trying.
I know you are.
I'm
I just gotta
I'm
throw it
trying.
out there because everybody was thinking it, just no.
All right, anything else from the public?
I'd like to say thanks to Tom for standing up for what he believed was right in the permit
Yeah.
system. As
Yeah.
the sole town web board member. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
And he's got his hand up to speak. And he's got his hand up to speak. Tom?
So, public comment?
Tom Greco, I mean, this, I'm here as a community member. I think we are so much more connected than anybody from each town can imagine. I've been coming here my whole life. I'm a kid. Inlet Little League, Old Fort Little League, I love this, I mean, all those things that are connected, our schools, trails are connected, our mountains, our rivers, our lakes. I mean, in my opinion, everything is all connected here. And we don't have a big enough offering unless we stay that way. And, how did we get here? Actually, Dan Keeperbach, and I discussed this, you guys, the openness that you guys had was last year. I mean, you guys came down to our place and you sat in front of us. I mean, maybe it was kind of like an awkward setup for us to discuss things, how it was done, but I give credit to you guys for coming down. That meeting was made for us to kind of show that we're working together and that we should be working together. And maybe I was a year and a half in now, I'm 2.5 now. Maybe I was naive to how things work, but still had belief in how they can work. And that was the whole point of the meeting. And then it led to, let's go into the agreement and, kind of just turning to that versus how can we work together? How can we better our area? People that come to the town of Webb go to Inlet. Tourists, everybody from the Inlet, they go to town of Webb. They go hand in hand. So I guess the whole point of where I'm at here, after that, we got into this $50,000 thing, whatever, it's public talked about. That doesn't make any sense. I agree with you when it comes to the percentage. We got into, the whole contract and how it's gonna work. I truly believe that the narrative down there, and we had a meeting on Monday where it was brought up and it was talked about, that people don't understand the 14%. There's an understanding that the 14%, whatever you guys take in, you keep
plus we give you
Oh.
14%. And I'm telling you, with where I sat, I tried to explain it and, tried to get the minutes from that on Monday. I haven't, gotten those yet, but, it's just a part of that is frustrating. So that whole mindset of where we're at now with going free versus not, and again, I'm talking as not a property owner up here, just up the road, and I'm now where we have a property down the way that's split between the town line. And I'm down there and I'm coaching and all this stuff, and I just don't understand where we're heading here. And the whole point of this was, I don't want town of Inlet to think that the whole town of Webb and its people, and I hope, I imagine you guys understand that this is not the whole town of Webb.
Yeah,
Old Forge, everybody is like, hey, we all stand. I haven't heard too many people support this mindset. Now, has it gone down this road? Has there been maybe a false narrative swaying people to not support the 14%? It seems like it to me. I've been against it since the beginning to do it. And, I voted that way to pay you guys or whatever that last thing was that just came out. So I'm in favor of all of us still working together. I'm in favor. I really want to believe that things will get better. And I don't want just this thing to change that. And with all that, I just, after you spoke, I know there could be a jaded feeling towards this thing, but like, there's no litigation present.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. So like the openness to talk about this that's how it works.
Yep.
So like the 14%, I know when you came down, a couple of you were like, well, we think that's too low. And then, that's how negotiations work, right? Isn't that how it happens?
Mhm.
So, I mean, is there because we haven't, now I am speaking as a board member, we haven't decided anything. I'm trying to find answers. I'm trying to figure out what it is because people need to know. Just like you said, permits get printed, advertising goes out. Like, is there a percent that, that could even be considered? Because you said right now, 14 to go back in to bring it together. Even if you guys were paid what you felt you were owed, like that number is still not, I mean, you guys, I'm not asking you to vote and decide that right now, but is there a closer number to that maybe would be possible? Because I really think Inlet going free and us doing a trail system, I mean, we can talk about it's great for Inlet, but is it great for snowmobiling as a whole in this area? I'm not so sure about that. And do we really want to take that chance when we have a winter economy already failing? I don't know, especially with the potential for a mountain maybe not being open this winter. I'll get beat up.
I thought
for
for years-
that, but that's a possibility.
I thought for years it should be 17%. I've said that down there repeatedly.
You did.
I did. I have said that for years.
in the meeting.
And I brought it up Monday. I said, the only number I heard was Tim Brown South suggested 17%.
Right, because the
And
cost of everything's gone up for all of us.
I tossed three numbers out tonight, 17, 20, and 38.
I heard it. But I just, and you guys are, I credit you and I personally appreciate it as both towns, whatever. I don't even know what that guy am anymore, but the litigations right now, it's not on the table. Like, hey, we had an agreement, whether we want to go into what it is or where it stands, we want to be paid for what our name was on.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I respect that so
Yeah.
much. And Dan, what you had to say last meeting, thanks for, I mean, you guys have carried yourself really well through this whole process, but I don't want it to really go to complete rest yet. That's the only reason.
Well, I give you a lot of credit if you're gonna be able to fight that fight down there, because you seem like you're a one-man band, and I'm hoping that you're gonna get some
Hey.
support. And maybe we can turn something around somewhere, but it's gonna be hard to right the ship.
Would you say that number though? Like, I don't want, they started to talk about, we do this, the point is, it's 14% of the overall sales.
Right.
Correct.
To get into what you guys do up here and how much gas you pay or what piston bully you bought last year, same thing for us down there.
Yeah, I think,
14% is the gateway
yeah,
and your land.
Well, if I could just touch on that really quick, because it seemed like the linchpin on this really was Mike Farmer's, they're processing too many permits down there. And that seemed to be the biggest side narrative that really hurt us. And we tried to coach that situation with offering for a new software program. And even as this software program was developed, I believe Adele in her office was stonewalled a little bit on input as far as to how that was going to come together. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'll make the statement public. It almost seemed like this new software program was set up to make sure that they were more processed down there than up here.
So to go off of that, and it was late, we were going over, hey, this thing's not ready yet. Now I brought up our passes aren't ready yet. So we have this preseason thing. Why don't we extend it to Christmas or something, or the holidays, so people can take advantage of it, since it has been tough around here. I brought that idea up because that system was not ready. The other part of this, the other night, Monday, was this whole who does what. Well, I guess, one board member said Inlet processed 3 times as many as they did last year, and they still take that off the table. Take that all off the table, and who's processing what in this world of online purchasing. We're gonna sit here and try and decide who's doing a better job of using their own system or whatever the heck it is, or maybe saying, hey, come to Inlet and buy your permit. So we get, keep it to 14% of the purchases or whatever it is.
If we were to move forward, I think the 17% probably seems more doable in my, if we were gonna backtrack on the free, and I say doable, I'm not saying that I'm backing that or anything else. But even if you want to stick on the processing, and that's still gonna be a link, I had offered to the supervisor, we'll pay a processing fee. You want to assess us a processing fee for the office? Let's talk about it. Because I don't think that was gonna be $36,000. And again, Adele had made the offer to process more, and the 2 offices actually worked together, and you did process more this year.
I did.
And it wasn't easy the way this software was set up, but at least it did happen. And that's the last statement I want to make on this whole thing, the holistic. We're not going to stop working together as far as Amy's been down helping the new assessor. Our police are still going to answer the calls in the town of Webb if they want us to. And I'll preface it with, if you want us to. Our ambulance bases are split out, we don't stick to the geographic town lines there. We respond to the public's needs. And as far as I think I can speak for the board, Inlet will always do that.
Appreciate
We're not going to step away from that because this became something else.
And I'll just throw one more thing at you, because we're talking about all this stuff, and it's been a thorn for a while, is that we process the permits with a credit card and the customer pays the processing fee. Forge, you guys pay the processing fee.
I think they just updated.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's changed. That would be a tremendous.
She said they were working on that at the May meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
So
so,
things, like I said, getting with the program, getting some stuff up to date would make this whole agreement that much easier to execute. Hearing that, maybe I can act as a mediator to try and get it to get back on the table for this. So I respect you for at least listening. That's all.
I respect you for coming. Peggy, I think I saw your hand up.
Just wanted to tell Sean that I thought the Townsend Trail that they worked on last fall looks really good. And I wanted to see if you still planned on touching that was a trouble area.
I don't know when, but the plan is still there. I just don't know when. I can't promise when. I have a lot of work to do.
I know. And then you're gonna continue with the rest of it?
Then we
How's
get
that going?
easements.
And how's that going?
Easements?
I'm at a standstill with the easements. I mean, I can't go any further.
People that refuse.
Yeah, I mean,
At least 2, right?
yeah, I mean, that's never changed.
We're
It's
gonna work,
always been-
we're gonna work on the 2. One of them's probably a non-answer. If we go that way, we're gonna probably be in the state right of way, which almost is a dangerous situation. But, we're in the state right of way where the creek is, but at least that's got a line of sight on it. The other one's on the corner, and it's not a pretty situation. But have the trail fragmented, if that's what it has to be, we'll do it I would like to see it fragmented. I'd like to see our original intention getting up to the 7 Lake House parking lot. Whether the 7 Lake House is there in the future or not, I don't want anybody to think we're just doing it for the business. It's
It's still where the finish line is gonna be your start.
correct. And again, I know this has taken a lot longer than it was supposed to, or you would want to see or whatever, but we're not giving up on it. Anything else from the Yep, Connie?
I, just wanted to have a conversation, Mike Bartolotti and I had a talk about the mini splits that were gonna be put in here and whether they were gonna, that's the best way to spend that money. So we talked a little bit about, you know, the fact that the, post office has that issue with, not having a generator. And the door automatically locks if the power goes out. They would pop open the door in the middle of winter, just, you know, allow people in. So we started talking, I'm like, said, well, we could probably do the library, put a generator for the library and that building. And maybe that would be a good use of that money that was, granted to us.
Is the power that, because you're a tenant in that building, is that are there 3 separate meters in that building?
3 separate.
So when you say power for the building, I don't know how we give power to the post office and to the library at the same time. I don't know. Do they make a dual or a triple
You can make a goal.
automatic switch?
Yeah.
Probably pretty pricey.
Well, it's your wall space. That would be your biggest issue. Is having the room to put it.
Gonna be outside.
There's a lot of space in that, the outside where the 3 things are, I believe, so.
All right, can we
An idea, I mean.
can we get prices?
Doing, mini splits, maybe at Fern, is that here? Where it would make a bigger impact on electric bills, so.
Can we, Robin, are we able to switch how we use that money, being that we applied for it as mini splits?
I don't know, certainly can check into that.
Okay.
I didn't know we applied to.
That's some of the money was we could
That's
spend
right.
as we wanted. Some of the money we were getting back.
Gotten the money, right?
Right.
Right, the first one was specifically mini splits, so,
Right.
yeah,
I did not know that.
All right, so that first one may be the mini splits up at Fern.
burn, and then.
And then the other one, get us some prices on a triple switch and a generator with the KWs.
Good for the library, for sure, because that would be a wonderful place if all went out.
You need library and post office at least, and I just, if you're putting 2, might as well put the 3rd. Well, you never know who's gonna be in that upstairs.
Well, it is all, the water system freezes there. is
Bottom line,
By-
you're
they're
gonna
all
want,
down, so-
yeah, if you're on an extended outage, you want the
Actually,
building to
one
be heated.
froze, it falls out.
Get us some prices so we can take a look at it. Good idea, Rob. Yeah, Connie, Robin.
You're good.
Well, at least I didn't call you the mic. I'm sorry. Been a long meeting and we still got an executive session. Anything else from the public?
I got one more thing.
Dan?
There was approached by Justin, I didn't bring his card, his last name, about potentially Inlet. They'd support, he was trying to set up some kind of a snowmobile race. So we're gonna look at our trails, look at our lakes, he said, would Inlet support such a thing? I would, I guess, if you had all the right stuff, if it worked out. So I can't speak for the board, I'd bring it up first. You guys were in support, go to Adele and we'll see if it's even possible.
Anything that would happen on town land would have to involve insurance.
He knows all about this stuff, but.
Anything that happens on lakes, we can't really sign off on. We
There
can,
was a snow cross one year that launched off the Fourth Lake
That
Boat
was
launch.
freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm bringing it up. I was for it, but I don't want to speak for you guys if it's doable. Trying to have a better plan.
yeah, they used to have the car races, they used to have a whole bunch of stuff, but we're now in a different date, and anytime we talk snowmobiling, we can't say.
Totally
"The trail
understand.
that goes across the lake,
That would be up to them.
Right, that's what
It's not up to us, it's up to them. I would support it,
I will.
you know.
They might have to get like a CRP from the state.
right, depending what they go, where they go, but it's just,
Right, to use the launch.
I just said I'd
Would we-
bring it up.
Would we support it? We supported the ice bowl. Would we, anytime there's gonna be an activity that we would support it, but there are caveats. We want to make sure all the.
Money then?
nope, there was none of that mentioned. He just said they might need services as well. We do have an ambulance corps. Usually they have to have one of them on hand, which I get it, which,
I would
You are
say
good
most
at
of these
so-
people are self-contained.
yeah, he's
They're doing
self-contained,
stuff. in
totally.
Places of the state.
So he had
They know what they're
ideas
doing.
and a backup plan. I said.
Yeah.
I'd be for it. I'll bring it up at the board meeting and see what you guys think, and maybe it transpires, maybe it don't, but if it does, it would be really cool. So
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the idea.
I didn't want to post it, so.
Do you mind if I shed a little bit of light on that? John Michelle, 80K Snowmobile Advocates. So the gentleman you're referring to is Justin Brandt. I actually had reached out to Justin sometime in December because I was following some of the things that he was putting on across the state. And the event's actually referred to, or the series is called the Adirondack Cross Country Race Series. And in talking with Justin, he puts these events on pretty much all over the state now. He's got Saranac Lake on board, Tupper Lake on board,
Caroga Lake you mentioned, yeah.
Caroga Lake. I went out to the Caroga Lake event myself and checked it out. I know Garrett Hoffman has participated in those races before. Garrett's filled me in a little bit on it. It's a turnkey operation. And he's got a number of Adirondack communities that have already signed on board with it. He's worked through many of the details. So in talking with Justin originally, I said, well, would you have any interest in bringing this to potentially Old Forge, Inlet area, whatever the case is? And he had indicated to me that he had raced years ago snowcross at McCullough Mountain. So he had contacted McCullough Mountain last year, and in talking with them, they indicated to him that they had no interest whatsoever in doing it. So he shared the story with me, and that's why it's evolved to this point.
Well, thank you. You probably led him to me then, so.
Exactly.
Thank you for that, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, if anybody wants to look into it, it's called the Adirondack Cross Country Race Series. You can find all the information, particularly on Facebook. It's a really neat event, and there's a tremendous opportunity that comes along with the event as well for nonprofit groups, community groups to tag onto it, to use it for fundraising purposes. If it's done right, there's a lot of good that it can do for the area. In fact, a friend of mine was also the Snowmobile Club president, just recently got elected the Snowmobile Club president at Caroga Lake. In discussing this with him, he said to me, he said, John, I only wish I knew that much sooner how we could have piggybacked onto this event and built off of it before we even had it at Caroga Lake. So he's already planning for next season as well. So it'd be a great thing for the area, wherever it ends up.
Thank you for throwing them our way. That was.
Yep.
Cool.
You need to buy a golf course.
There's the winner in. Come on, Gordy. Oh, my God.
8-1.
Steve's got his hand up.
Just want to add one real quick thing. Been working super hard with the Unity Garden, hoping by the beginning of June. We should be pretty much up and running. We already got 6 of our raised beds delivered. 6 more should be coming in, I think, by next week. Dan, thank you for, offering to put in some.
No problem.
Chips and.
Anytime, anything you need.
Basically, I think the next phase is going to try to be sending out a flyer at some point in time. If anybody knows anybody that is interested, please come find me. It's gonna be really reasonable in prices if you want to, operate your own raised bed over there. It's a great location, all south facing. But we're getting closer.
Awesome.
Cool.
Really cool.
I can't believe what you guys do with that little square footage.
A little bit of everything, yeah.
Little
The
bit of
golf
everything.
course, think how big a garden be. Gordy. Yeah, Gordy's got.
I can't grow it.
Well, that's throwing it out there.
All right, folks, anything else for public comment? We've got a pretty hefty discussion on specific performance of an employee.
Thank you, Bonnie, for all of your efforts to get all this stuff together. Get that money, get that checked off, so.
You're welcome.
Coming in. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Connie, thank you for hooking up with Brian. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, motion to go into executive session.
Offered.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.